Jeremy sat on his dorm room bed, staring at the package. It was from his mother. He hadn't heard from her in months. Not even a letter. He hesitated. A strange feeling of dread washed over him. He tore open the package. Inside, nestled in tissue paper, lay a small, ornate key. It was cold to the touch and seemed to hum with an unseen energy. No note, no explanation, just the key. He turned it over and over in his hands. It was heavier than it looked. His fingers tingled where they touched the metal. He felt drawn to it, compelled to use it. He stood up and walked to his bedroom door. It wasn't the right fit for this key. He could feel it. He wandered his dorm room, the key feeling warm in his hand. It pulsed with a faint, internal light. Suddenly, the wall across from him began to shimmer. A section of the wall pulsed with the same light as the key. A doorway. He walked towards the light, an unknown force pulling him forward. As he got closer, the doorway solidified, revealing a stone archway. It was dark inside. He felt a cold wind blow from the opening. He knew this door was meant for the key. He slid the key into the lock. The stone archway opened into a long, narrow tunnel. The air was thick and musty. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling like ghostly fingers. He stepped inside. Immediately, he felt different, strange. He looked down at his hands. They were smaller, younger. He ran a hand through his hair. It was shorter. He took a step back, wanting to escape, but the archway was gone. He was trapped. He moved forward, deeper into the tunnel. He walked for what felt like hours. With each step, he grew younger. His clothes hung loosely on his shrinking frame. His thoughts became simpler, his fears more primal. He stumbled and fell, scraping his knee. He cried out, the sound unfamiliar to his own ears. It was the cry of a child. He looked down at his hands. They were the hands of a toddler. Panic welled up inside him. He didn't understand what was happening. He just wanted his mother. He wanted to go home. He crawled now, his once adult mind trapped in the body of a child. The tunnel seemed to stretch on forever. Ahead, he saw a light. Hope surged through him. He crawled towards it, his tiny limbs aching with exhaustion. He felt small, helpless. He emerged from the tunnel and into a brightly lit room. The smell of baby powder filled the air. He looked around. It was a nursery. A crib stood against one wall, its bars painted a cheerful yellow. He felt a hand on his back, lifting him up. He looked up. It was his mother. But she was younger, her hair was longer, her face unlined. She smiled down at him, her eyes filled with love. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. He understood. He was home. She carried him to the crib and laid him down on the soft mattress. He wanted to scream, to tell her he was still in there, trapped, but no sound came out. He was a baby. She tucked the blanket around him, her touch gentle. She leaned down and kissed him on the forehead. "Mama loves you," she whispered. Then she turned and walked away. He watched her go, his heart pounding in his tiny chest. He was trapped, a prisoner in his own infant body. He looked up at the mobile hanging above his crib. Something glinted in the light. The key. It dangled just out of reach, a cruel reminder of his fate. He was home, but he was lost. Forever.